Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Now, as you guys know, Skip Bayless is becoming one of the most polarizing people in all of sports media, right? Because of his LeBron James takes, the way he treated his former partner, debate partner, Shannon Sharp at Undisputed FS1, and of course some of the things that he said throughout the course of his career. He's made a lot of enemies, and this is black and white, whatever. I've heard people that are white call him an a-hole. I've heard people that are black, so it's not a racial thing when it comes to Skip Bayless, right? It's not a racial thing. But nevertheless, for all the people out there that seem to be critical about Skip Bayless, there's always been one person that has always maintained his loyalty to Skip Bayless. And that person has always been Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has always been loyal to Skip Bayless because he gave him the opportunity to come back to work at ESPN, to come work on ESPN First Take after he had left, right? So I feel like Stephen A. Smith forever feels indebted to Skip Bayless. And him constantly defending Skip is something that annoys a lot of people out there. And one of those people seems to be Dan Batard, who now seems to be having a back and forth with Stephen A. Smith, right? Dan Batard said to Stephen A. Smith on his show when he came there, he essentially said to him, he doesn't like what he has done, him and Skip Bayless have done to the sports media landscape. Basically feels like now they've turned this entire thing into a circus. And by the way, Stephen A. Smith took exception with those comments. He took exception with them. So recently, Stephen A. Smith put out a podcast episode that came out roughly a week or so ago, where he was addressing a lot of the naysayers, people that feel like ESPN is going to fail. And one of the people that he called out was Dan Batard himself. So what happened? Yesterday, Dan Batard in their show, they published a show. And in this show, Dan Batard was responding to a lot of the things that Stephen A. Smith said. And he said essentially that, listen, I still believe that what you and Skip Bayless are doing to sports media is actually hurting the medium. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Dan Batard had to say here in response to Stephen A. Smith and his constant defending of Skip Bayless, and then we're going to come back and react to it. Take a listen to that.
I want to have a conversation about what's happened to sports television. Why is Skip Bayless at 70? See, this is the thing. Stephen A. respects Skip Bayless, who's a plague, because Skip Bayless gave Stephen A. the chance that he gave Shannon Sharp to do the thing of let's do white man, black man, and we'll do the dog whistle and sports will get dumber. And I will spend 20 years chasing LeBron, who's only the athlete of our times, who deserves all sorts of praise. I'm going to situate myself as the hater and just get somebody loud and black across from me, and we will fight. And that's what television is. And they are the number one program. But First Take went from being what I thought was an embarrassment for the company into their hood ornament. That happened in the last 15 years. Last 10 years, it went from ESPN was a certain journalistic thing, and then it became this dumber thing that has less journalism in it and has Woj now just writing for the Trailblazers.
That happened in political journalism as well, though, right? If you look at CNN, that's exactly what happened to them, is they basically became this format for debate television, almost following the First Take model.
But it works. It works. Of course, feed the dumb people.
But are we dumb because they made us dumb?
We want to be dumb. We start dumb. We watch dumb things. We consume it like cotton candy. And that's what wins.
Yeah. But now there's that new form of media that targets the dumb people, but tells the dumb people they're the smart ones. Not to take additional shots at Joe Rogan, but that's like the audience. Like, no, everyone else is wrong. You're not dumb. In fact, get this. You're smarter than everybody else. Everything that you Googled that other time that thought maybe people thought that you were crazy for believing in that conspiracy theory, here's someone else with a bit of a reputation agreeing with you and fortifying your beliefs. You're smart, man. You're not dumb for watching this. Everyone else is dumb for not.
But also smart is going dumb as a platform for morning television. Let's do it 10 a.m.
Morning television has always been dumb. Outside of like Meet the Press, dude, and CBS Sunday Morning, and those audiences are limited compared to
but it's a broader
the Today
net.
Show.
It's if you are trying to traffic in simply, how do I make the most money by getting the most audience? If it's going to be on television, it's a good question when you ask me it, because I don't know which started this. Did this start because people were dumb, or did the dumb television make people dumber? Like, I'm not sure what the answer to that question is as we discuss it, but it's obviously giving people what they want because it works.
It's symbiotic. Yeah, it's symbiotic. It just goes in this, like, it's like a hurricane storm that keeps churning. And they look at numbers and they say, talk about Dak Prescott's contract for the 400th time in the dumbest way possible, because the numbers tell us that really works.
Every time I talk about any of this stuff, because the starting point on this discussion is he was saying, why do you keep talking about ESPN? I found ESPN relentlessly interesting before I got there, while I was there, and after I've left. It's been an amazing thing to witness a place in Bristol, Connecticut, a cable company, all of a sudden emerge from nowhere to be one of the great cultural brands anywhere in America, and to be something that is the dominant thing in sports, where if your hockey is on ESPN, more people will watch it. If your baseball is on ESPN, more people will watch it. And if they do not televise you, your sport will lose popularity, because you need this particular partnership. They're a giant. And I've always believed, when I was there in what I felt like was an ombudsman's role, I've always believed that you get more credibility if you allow, from inside the premises, people to criticize what you're doing, talking about it the way people are talking about it on the outside. Like, try to be fair, try to be objective. Every time I talk about it, because I left there, the words get stained with, well, he left and he's bitter. And I look at people like Stephen A. Smith and I'm like, you weren't listening to me while I was there. You were too busy shouting over me.
So you heard what he had to say. Now, here's the thing. There's some things I want to quickly touch on. Number one, the debate. Skip Bayless is known as the Godfather debate, right? He's the one that really took that thing to the next level at ESPN First Take, and really made it a part of culture, to the point where you see a lot of entertainers, movie stars coming on ESPN First Take. So this embrace debate culture, you can see it permeating all throughout the internet. Even today, you see various sports shows and guys are debating. A lot of that was birthed from ESPN, right? That was the real inception of that stuff, where they really perfected it. And Skip Bayless has actually done various shows where he's kind of taken us behind the curtains to walk us through the inception of that show and how it ended up becoming what it is today, right? So that's absolutely true. I think what Dan Le Batard is saying is that now it has gotten to the point where people will say anything for the sake of debating, even if they don't believe it. And now people will even go as far as saying outlandish things if they feel is going to garner them some attention. He said he believes that sports media is actually getting dumber, and it's making people dumber. And he feels like one of the people that is causing this is Skip Bayless. He's the one that had the format of the black and white guy. And there's a reason that they did that, right? There's an actual reason why these shows always have one black guy and one white guy, because there's a reason that they do that. And it's been explained in the past, right? They're trying to appeal to these two audiences. So that's the reason that they do it. They understand what they're doing. But I think Dan Le Batard feels that, hey, listen, there has to be a better way to do sports media than this, because now he feels like this thing is turned into a circus and a free for all. But as you heard some of his coworkers say, it's working, right? It's working. He himself even admitted that it's working. So some people may have the school of thought, which is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And some people say, yeah, it ain't broke, don't fix it. But man, you got to look at the effects of what you guys are doing. So, that's what he had to say. So the question is simply this: do you think that the work that Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith are doing is pushing sports media forward, or do you think is dumbing everyone down? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.